Hello, students. Today we are going to critically analyze the story The Last Leaf written by O. Henry. The real name of the author O. Henry was William Sidney Porter, and he was an American writer. I had told in the earlier video also that when you are critically analyzing a story, you have to divide your answer into following points: setting and atmosphere, characterization, narrative technique, narrative tone, plot, and themes. So let us have a look at the setting of the story first. The story takes place in a locality named Greenwich Village, situated in New York City. As usual, in the first paragraph of the story, the author has given a detailed description of Greenwich Village. He points out that many artists have settled down in the place because of its very confusing pathways. Very humorously, he points out that artists settled here so that debt collectors are not able to find them. This statement is not solely for humor, but is also a comment on the poverty of artists. The atmosphere of the story is ominous, meaning, while reading the story, we have a feeling that something bad is about to happen. In the third paragraph, the author informs us that a stranger, that is, Mr. Pneumonia, is making people sick all over the place. John C. also gets affected by this disease. The doctor tells us she has little chance of survival because he has lost hope. So we find an atmosphere of hopelessness, depression, and a fear of impending death throughout the story. Now we come to the characterization in story. There are three main characters in the story: Sue, John C., and Berman. All three characters are struggling artists and live in the same building. Sue and John C. are young, while Berman is old. The characterization in the story is mainly indirect, meaning we do not find long descriptions about how the characters look or what they are thinking by the author. The only physical description of Sue and John C. we find in the story is that they are young. We come to know about the personalities of the characters through their dialogues, that is, conversations among each other. For example, we come to know that Chauncey is hopeless and depressed when she tells Sue that she is going to die when all the leaves fall off from the vine outside her window. Similarly, we come to know that Sue is very kind and loves Chauncey a lot in the way she cares for her and makes all efforts to save her. We find a third person omniscient narrative in the story. That is, the story is narrated by a person who knows all about the characters and the story. But this third person narrative is limited. Limited in the sense that the author has provided a lot of detail about the setting of the story, but characterization is mostly through the dialogues or conversations among characters. We do not find authorial commentaries upon what a character is thinking or planning. There is a pictorial quality to the narrative. The author has used a lot of visual imagery in the story. The readers can very easily visualize John C. lying down on a bed looking at the tree outside. Although the subject of the story is dark, that is, about death and hopelessness, the author has tried to brighten the narrative by using personifications, humor, and metaphors. Now we come to the narrative tone of the story. Suited to the subject of the story, the tone is somber and emotive. Somber meaning serious and emotive that appeals to the emotions of the readers. As I had told earlier also, we find a little bit of humor sprinkled in the story. Examples of humor can be seen in the slide. Sentences are generally long with metaphorical language. We also find a lot of references to death and hopelessness in the story. Again, you will find the examples in the slide. The next point is plot. The plot of the story is linear. That is, events are narrated chronologically without any kind of flashback or flash forward. The focus is on the story of Sue and John C. without any other subplot. The conflict in the plot is produced by natural forces. The antagonist or the villain of the story is Mr. Pneumonia, who afflicts John C. and almost kills her. We later on find that Berman in the end gets killed by pneumonia too. The author has employed the technique of foreshadowing, that is, creating a fear in the story that something bad is about to happen. Through this technique, he keeps the readers engaged in the story. O. Henry is famous for surprise endings in his stories, and he has not disappointed the readers in the last leaf also. To our surprise, in the end of the story, we find that the last leaf that survives the ravages of nature is not a real leaf, but a painted one. Painted by Berman, who loses his life as a consequence to his being exposed to rain and cold while painting it in the night. The last leaf, though it seems to be a very simple story, but it has layers of meaning. The main themes in the story can be stated as number one, sacrifice. Sacrifice that Berman makes for saving John C. Secondly, friendship and support. The untiring love and care that Sue provides to John C. and brings her back to life. Third is hope and resilience, how the last leaf inspires hope in John C. to have faith in life again. Then fourth is art and creativity. The last leaf becomes the masterpiece of Berman because it restores the faith of John C. into life and love. I hope you found this explanation useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.